Season 2 of the McBee Dynasty. The real American cowboys wrapped up with big moments and even bigger emotions, as Jesse McBee and Ali Ventresca officially tied the knot in a heartwarming finale. But not everything on McBee Farm was smooth sailing. Just as wedding preparations were underway, unexpected tensions rose when guest Galina Salkowska was suddenly pulled away from the celebration, following an invitation extended by Christy McBee. Throughout Season 2, the McBee family faced intense pressure as they struggled to keep their farm running, while also navigating personal and professional turmoil. Jesse wrestled with pre-wedding nerves, and Cole McBee prepared to step into fatherhood for the first time, adding another emotional layer to an already dramatic season. The season ended with a powerful warning from Stephen McBee Jr., who hinted that some of the family's challenges might continue. "This isn't just going to disappear overnight," he said in the finale. "We have a long road ahead." Cole also expressed deep concern during a confessional, calling the situation one of the most difficult experiences of his life. Will there be a Season 3 of the McBee Dynasty? As of now, the McBee Dynasty, The Real American Cowboys, has not been officially renewed for a third season. However, the McBee family has kept fans updated with their lives post-filming. Cole McBee and Casey Atkinson welcomed their first daughter, Blair, in December 2024. Jess and Ali celebrated the arrival of their daughter, Summerlee McBee, in April 2025. Meanwhile, Stephen Jr. has shared that he's still searching for a meaningful, long-term relationship. Whether or not the show returns, it's clear the McBees are continuing to write their own story, one filled with resilience, growth, and plenty of surprises. The McBee legacy after the storm. The sun was just rising over McBee Farm, casting a golden hue over the rows of weathered fences and open fields. Missouri mornings had their own magic, quiet, cool, a kind of stillness that made the world feel full of promise. But for the McBee family, that morning wasn't just another day on the ranch. It was the day Jesse McBee was going to marry the woman who had stood by him through every high and low, Ali Ventresca. The wedding was set to be small, rustic, elegant, just how Ali liked it. Lavender from the garden, twine-wrapped mason jars, and a live bluegrass trio ready to play under the oak tree. But if there was one rule about life on the farm, it was this: nothing ever went exactly as planned. As guests arrived, dressed in cowboy boots and floral prints, there was a certain energy in the air. Maybe it was the looming storm clouds on the horizon, or the hushed conversations circling around the guest list. Christy McBee had extended an olive branch, asking Jesse to invite Galina Salkowska, a controversial choice, but one she hoped would bring healing. Instead, it brought chaos. The wedding bell and the whirlwind. Jesse stood at the altar, his nerves hidden beneath a crisp white shirt and a hand-me-down bolo tie from his father. His brothers, Stephen Jr. and Cole, flanked him, both looking more solemn than usual. Jesse's hands were clammy. He wasn't nervous about Ali. He was nervous about everything else. The land, the debts, the rumors, the weight of legacy pressing on his shoulders. Then it happened. Just before Ali's grand entrance, a wave of whispers rolled through the crowd like a gust of wind. Two unmarked cars rolled into the gravel lot behind the barn. Officers stepped out quietly, and the murmurs grew louder. Galina, dressed in a flowing emerald green dress, was calmly escorted away, leaving behind more questions than answers. Christy stood in stunned silence, hand clasped over her chest. But Jesse? He didn't flinch. As the music changed and Ali walked down the aisle, Jess's focus returned. Whatever was happening outside the wedding, the drama, the uncertainty, it didn't matter right now. He smiled, and for a moment, there was peace. A season of fire and rain. While the cameras caught the vows, the tears, and the kisses under that old oak tree, they couldn't capture what came after. That night, after the guests left and the fireflies came out, Jesse sat on the farmhouse porch, Ali's head on his shoulder. We got through it, he whispered. For now, she said, her voice soft. But you know this isn't over. Jessie nodded. Yeah, I know. Back in the main house, Stephen Jr. was on the phone, pacing. His voice low, his tone serious. He had always been the practical one, the planner, the fixer. But even he was starting to see that the problems they faced weren't ones that could be wrangled with spreadsheets and strategy. This isn't something we can outrun, he told his father over the phone. We have to face it head on. Cole, meanwhile, was distracted in a different way. His partner, Casey Atkinson, was due any day now. Cole, meanwhile, was distracted in a different way. His partner, Casey Atkinson, was due any day now. He had installed a crib in the guest room, bought every baby book he could find, and still felt completely unprepared. I can't protect her from this, he confided in Stephen one evening. Not the baby, not Casey. I don't even know where to begin. Stephen clapped him on the shoulder. You begin by showing up. Every single day. That's what Dad taught us. The winds of change. In the weeks following the wedding, life on the farm returned to its usual rhythm. But beneath that rhythm was an undertone of anxiety. A federal investigation loomed quietly in the background, casting long shadows over the cornfields and cattle pens. Still, the McBees kept moving forward. Allie launched a farm-to-table initiative with local schools, teaching kids where their food came from. Jessie doubled down on ranch operations, expanding into grass-fed beef. Stephen Jr. traveled between the farm and Jefferson City, meeting with lawyers, advisors, and anyone who could give him clarity. And then, in December 2024, something beautiful happened. Blair Atkinson McBee entered the world with a cry so loud it made Cole laugh through his tears. She's got lungs like her Uncle Jesse, he joked, cradling her tiny form against his chest. The birth changed everything. It reminded them all that, for everything uncertain, some things were solid. Real, worth fighting for, new roots, old soil. By spring 2025, the farm had come alive again. Calves were born, wildflowers blanketed the fields, and life, messy, stubborn life, pushed forward. In April, Jessie and Allie welcomed their own daughter, Summer Leigh McBee, her name a tribute to both the season and Allie's late grandmother. As Jessie held her in his arms, all those fears he'd once had about being a husband, a father, a leader, they didn't vanish, but they changed. Now they were motivation. A quiet season, a loud future. Though the cameras had stopped rolling, fans hadn't stopped watching. Social media buzzed with updates, speculation, and pleas for Season 3. Would the show return? Would the family overcome what lay ahead? For now, there were no official answers, but one thing was clear, the McBees weren't done. Stephen Jr., ever the realist, posted a cryptic update on Instagram. Every dynasty has its trials. Ours just happens to be under the open sky. Stay tuned. Meanwhile, Jesse, standing in a field with baby Summer strapped to his chest, shared a photo with a caption that read, "Whatever comes next, we're ready." And Cole? He posted a candid shot of Blair chewing on a boot. The caption, simple and perfect. Built tough, just like her mama. Legacy in the making. What makes a dynasty isn't land or money or fame. It's legacy. It's waking up before the sun to feed cattle. It's facing adversity together. It's choosing hope when fear would be easier. It's passing down wisdom and stories in silence, in Sunday dinners that stretch on past sunset. The McBee family isn't perfect, far from it. But their story, still unfolding, is one of grit, love, and the unshakable bond that holds them together through it all. And whether or not the McBee Dynasty, the Real American Cowboys returns for Season 3, one thing is certain. The story is far from over. The storm beneath the soil. By the summer of 2025, McBee Farm looked like a picture of rural Americana, sun-bleached barns, fields swaying with golden wheat, and toddlers toddling through tall grass, barefoot and fearless. But beneath the serenity, there were cracks, some born of secrets, others of silence. Stephen Jr. had grown quieter since the spring. While his brothers focused on growing their families and rebuilding the land, he found himself in late-night calls, poring over documents, speaking with advisors, and replaying the decisions that had led them all here. One night, under the weight of too many thoughts, he visited the barn where their father used to sit after long days, drinking coffee gone cold and watching the stars. He sat there now, alone, the air thick with memory. Christy found him there. "Dad's chair still smells like sawdust and worry," she said, breaking the silence as she walked in. Stephen nodded. "He built this place with his hands, and now we're holding it together with duct tape and desperation." Christy sat beside him. "You know what I remember," she said softly. "When you boys were little, he used to say, 'When the winds get wild, you don't abandon the barn, you brace it.'" Stephen chuckled. "Yeah, he also said that while hanging from a roof with a dislocated shoulder." They both laughed, and for a moment, the burden lifted. Unfinished business. But laughter wouldn't keep the wolves from the door forever.